In being a teacher and mentoring others on issues of Emuna and energy, I've been asked to give my thoughts about the whole vaccination and what is the perspective, or maybe what is a wider perspective. Of course, I'm not a Rav. I'm not making any psika. This is just my opinion after being asked various times over and over and over again. So I'm just going to tell you my feeling and where I think we all need to go with this. And I'm talking from an Emuna perspective. I'm not leave intuition for a moment. Between me and you and all the on the walls here, intuitively, I don't feel it's the right thing to do either to take the vaccine. But that's intuitively. Leave that alone for a moment, okay? Let's just look at this from the perspective of an Emuna perspective. One of the conditions of Geula, I've been saying this to a lot of people. One of the conditions of Geula is En lanu an mi lishen ela avinu shebashamayim. There's no one else to lean on but Hashem Yitbarach. No one else. That is a condition. It's not just a nice axiom, something our rabbis told us. The Rebbeim said, our holy tzaddikim told us, when Israel gets to the point that they're screaming out and saying, we have no one else, we are so confused, is right right, is left left, or is left right and right left? Anybody there yet? I think we are. So at the end of the day, we didn't know what that meant when we read it a decade ago. Yeah, there was confusion a decade ago, but not this. Not on a worldwide, scheme. Yeah, I was confused 10 years ago, maybe like, should I make Aliyah to Israel? Should I send my child to this school or not? But now we're talking about everyone pretty much kind of like, but like Seppi said, some run to it and some don't. We're at a point now where some Rebbeim are saying yes, some Rebbeim are saying no. Who is really saying yes and who is saying no? I don't know, other than when you see it in writing. Those that say, unless you actually hear them, and today people can distort even audios. I don't know. We don't know. So I speak to women a lot, and a lot of them ask me what my thoughts are, and I'm going to tell you all what I say to them and what I'm going to say to myself. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Not because I'm not educated, not because I don't listen to the news, but they say you don't have to listen to the news to be educated about what's going on in the world. Somehow or another, you find out. Even people who don't have internet, the most firmest of that don't have, they know. A lot of them know still what's going on. They hear it. Hey, bud, what's going on? And they tell them the latest news, and they hear the headlines, and they can read some papers, and most people are educated to some level or another. That is, of course, if they want to be educated, right? Some really don't want to know, so they don't. But for the people who want to know, even if they don't have a smartphone, they somehow get it. Why am I saying that? At the end of the day, it doesn't feel right to me to get a vaccine, me personally. But if the rabbis and so this is where I suspend my logic and say that if the majority of the Rebbeim, if my Rav, aselach harav, make for yourself a rabbi. You can't look at all the rabbis. You're gonna have rabbis who are gonna say yes. You're gonna have rabbis who say no. Look, we see it. Every family must make for themselves a rabbi. Your husband or you must have a rabbi and a rebbitzin. Once you have your Rav, and your Rav says yes or no, then you're quiet. Okay, you're not 100% quiet. You're 90% quiet. There's always going to be a part of you that's going to churn inside. So, but at the end of the day, this is the instruction from Hashem. Make for yourself a Rav. Your Rav will tell you what you need to do. To you. Yes, you're going to have other Rebbeim, they're going to say, but you don't listen to the other ones. You have one Rav, right? We have one Rav. He guides us. He's our spiritual doctor. He's our spiritual coach. He tells us what we need to do. It's all nice to see this list of all the Rebbeim saying no, but someone else is going to present a whole list of Rebbeim that are going to say yes. So then what? What are you going to do then? Oh, well, this one's bigger than that. Who says? Who says? Yes, of course we have Dolim. You need to make yourself your own Rav and go by what your Rav says. Now, okay, so now let's fast forward and say, Chas v'shalom, if somebody ends up with a horrible, no one should know, no one, Hashem, please listen to me, please answer my tefillahs, all our tefillahs, nobody should get sick if they took the vaccine. But if somebody got sick, because and we're associating the vaccine with the sickness, is it the vaccine that gave them the sickness? Your answer needs to be no. But it says so, that they would possibly get this if they took the vaccine. And I'm saying to you, no. It has nothing to do with the vaccine. But it makes sense, but it says so. It doesn't matter. If that person was meant to get sick with such and such, they would have got it without the vaccine. Hashem is masking things. We need to understand and stop giving koach. That's when we get the tzivui, when we received on Har Sinai, the tzivui and the instruction, Al ta'aseh lecha elokim acherim. Don't make for yourself another God. That is, in our day and age, the vaccine. The vaccine is not a God. When I say, this person got this because of the vaccine, we gave the vaccine koach like a god, and we're going against one of the 10 commandments. Do we not understand that? We are going against one of the 10 commandments. When you give koach to a vaccine to take or not take, then you give koach to the vaccine, it becomes a god. It's just like when you believe in the money that you have in the bank. It's just like when you believe in your boss. If I have a job, I'll have money. If I don't have a job, I won't have money. That's making your job a god. We don't realize how many times during the day we have made for ourselves other gods. It's mamish idol worship. I want us to understand that. I'm at fault, by the way, too. I'm not putting myself out of this. I do this all the time. I admit to it. And I have to do tshuva on it. We all do. We all do. We all do this all the time. So this is where we need to filter out. And this is another opportunity for us to filter out our draw towards other gods. If this, then I'll have that. All these if, the conditioning of if this will happen. If this, then that won't happen. That's making gods. We have plenty. That's why it says Elokim. Elokim is in plural. So that's what Hashem sort of meant. That's what the Torah implies. A person can have 10 gods that they're serving, and yet they think they're serving Hashem. And then after 120, it's like they're going to present them all these gods. And you'll be like, what? I didn't have any other. You, Hashem. No. You were thinking about, you were giving strength and believe that this, that, and the other has an effect on you. So what is the way to be able to nullify the other gods? Make for yourself a Rav. Your Rav is not your God, but you believe and trust in the word of Hashem that comes through the power of a tzaddik. Make sure, shop around. Just like you would shop around for the best doctor, if anybody needed to go through a serious operation, they would go for second opinions, they would shop around, get recommendations. Do the same for your Rav. Make sure you have a Rav that you would go blindly into the sea like Nachshon ben Aminadav. That if your Rav told you, jump in the sea right now with a whole sea of sharks, you would do it because he told you you could do it. You should do it. That's how much you trust him. That's the type of Rav you need to have. Ask yourself, would I jump into a sea of sharks if my Rav told me to do that? If you didn't, then you have to ask yourself, why can't I accept upon myself the yoke of rabbinical authority? as Hashem, as Hashem instructed me to. If your Rav, it says so. If your Rav says that right is left and left is right, you listen to them. But wait a minute, I know what right is. Your Rav said right is left is right. You listen to him. You tell me who's in that category right now. Who amongst us are on that level? That's what Hashem needs of us to do, to surrender to the Rav that he should be a mentor in our eyes. He should be a mentor in our eyes. Now, the problem is that so many Rebbeim are corrupt. I'm telling you the truth. A lot of Rebbeim are corrupt. The rabbis that we believed in. How many communities believed in their Rav, later to find out that the Rav, was involved in money laundering, sexually abused his, the women in the community, the men. God only knows. Hashem, Rachem. I don't know. It's a problem. And that's why, in a way, we always have to say, at the end of the day, even when I have my Rav and I go into the sea of sharks, at the end of the day, it's only you, Hashem. Hashem, please, every day, we should be davening at the place of Shmona Esrei. Ala tzadikim, va'ala chasidim, ועל זקני שארית עמך בית ישראל ועל פליטת סופריהם ועל גרי הצדק ועלינו יהמונה רחמך השם אלוקינו ותן שכר טוב לכל הבוטחים בשמך באמת ושים חלקנו עמהם. We say this in Shmona Esrei. Please Hashem. And then what does it say at the end? ולעולם לא נבוש כי בך בטחנו ועל חסדך הגדול באמת בתמים נשעננו. ברוך אתה השם משען ומפתח לצדיקים. What do we say in that tefillah? If nobody paid attention to that tefillah, pay attention to it now in Shmona Esrei. We're saying, Hashem, give me the pillar, the mish'an, the mish'enet. Let me lean on. Umiftach. Let me be securely in the midst of tzaddikim. Every time I say this part of my Shmona Esrei, I think to myself, Hashem, don't let me falter. Please let me always be in the surrounding area of tzaddikim. My rabbi should be a tzaddik, a real tzaddik that's guiding me. I don't want to have a tour guide that's taking me around town and takes me to the most dangerous area of the neighborhood. My tour guide is my Rav. Let him take me to places that are safe. Okay, so B'kitzur, at the end of the line, bottom line is, make for yourself a Rav, daven that the Rav is a real tzaddik, and ask for Hashem to have Rahmanas on you, so that no matter what decision you make, it should find favor. Omrim shimtza chen v'sechel tov be'einecha. It should find favor and be wise in your eyes. Every day we should be davening. And I'm telling me, if we do it this way, no matter what happens, even if it falls upon a person, chas v'shalom, chas v'shalom, chas v'shalom, I'm not going to say the rest, you know what I mean? It wasn't, right? In the Gemara it says, lo anachash memit, hachet memit. It's not the snake that causes a person to die. It's the sin that a person has that drew the snake to bite them that caused them to, God forbid, something to happen. Don't put your trust in the vaccine, whether for good or for not good. It's not the vaccine. It's just a test. Hashem is disguising the end of days Emuna test in a sign called, in a state called, should I vaccinate or should I not? All it is a test. At the end of the day, the vaccine won't protect and it won't kill. It's only Hashem.